Good morning, guys. Happy to be with you. I'm really happy to tell you we're still on with the book. We're still, I think, more than 20 people reading. Today is going to be an important part, 2 pages about Javert. And so Javert is this policeman. He will have a very important role in this book. Now, remember, you don't have to know all the words we're reading here. This is high literature. Try to understand, sometimes write down a word, few words, but not too many. It's rather understanding than using this vocabulary. So we are talking here about Javert. And so, il remplissait à Montreuil-sur-Mer les fonctions pénibles mais utiles d'inspecteur. So, he remplissait, he fulfilled in, well, this is the city, Montreuil-sur-Mer, the functions, the pénible, and pénible means like not very nice, maybe hard, tedious, but useful functions of inspector. So he is the inspector in Montreuil-sur-Mer. Il n'avait pas vu les commencements de Madeleine. So he, Javert, had not seen the beginnings of Madeleine. Remember Madeleine? Mr. Madeleine has this factory and, well, he built this factory from nothing, but Javert had not seen how he had become this important man. Javert devait le poste qu'il occupait à la protection de M. Chabouillet, le secrétaire du ministre d'État Comte anglaise, alors préfet de police à Paris. So Javert, and then we have the verb devait. Devait comes from the verb devoir, and usually it means to must or to have to. But now it also can mean to owe, and here it's rather to owe. So Javert owed this job, this post, but it's a job, which he occupied, which he had, to the protection of Mr. Chabouillet. And who is Mr. Chabouillet? The secretary of the Minister of State, State Minister, Viscount Anglaise, then Commissioner of Police, Police Commissioner in Paris. So this man, Chabouillet, police officer or commissioner in Paris, he gave this job to Javert. Quand Javert était arrivé à Montreuil-sur-Mer, la fortune du grand manufacturier était déjà faite et le père Madeleine était devenu Monsieur Madeleine. So, when Javert had arrived in, well, this city, Montreuil-sur-Mer, the fortune of this great manufacturer, so of Mr. Madeleine, was already made. And Father Madeleine, but remember I told you, well, we would rather say Mr. Madeleine, but if you have an important figure at that time, you would rather say Father Madeleine, but he's not a priest, not a religious person. But so Mr. Madeleine had become, and look very well, the verb devenir, to become, is conjugated with the verb to be. Did you see it? So in French, you will say is become, but in English, had become Mr. Madeleine. So he had become an important person, but this had already been done when Javert arrived in Montreuil-sur-Mer. Certains officiers de police ont une physionomie à part et qui se complique d'un air de bassesse mêlé à un air d'autorité. So, certain police officers have a, well, you could say physiognomy, but you can also say like facial features or facial expressions. À part means apart, different. And which se complique de. Se complique de, it's like getting more complex or getting even tougher, more complex, because they have an air of they look very, and now we have two important words we have to understand, bassesse and autorité. Bassesse, I think I would say like vileness, lowness, vileness. So he had a look of vileness. They're not talking about him yet. They're talking about certain police officer have those features of vileness mixed with a look of authority. Javert avait cette physionomie, moins la bassesse. So Javert had this facial features, but less the vileness. Okay? If there's things you don't understand, you can always ask me, please do. Javert était né dans une prison d'une tireuse de cartes dont le mari était aux galères. So, Javert was born in a prison from tireuse de cartes, it's, a woman who is pulling cards, that's what it says, but we could say like a fortune teller, of which the husband was aux galères, you know, on the galleys. The galleys are those big ships. I explained it in the beginning. So he was gone all the time. He was working on a galley. Now, we have to understand that Victor Hugo believes very much that the way you're born, the way you've grown up is very important for your character later. So he's trying to tell a little bit about Javert and his childhood to explain the way he reacts later. You will see that. Okay, so, en grandissant, il pensa qu'il était en dehors de la société et désespéra d'y entrer jamais. So, growing up, this is the verb grandir, he thought that he was outside society and was desperate to enter there. And then the word jamais, it's a bit funny. Jamais is a very funny word. It means never, but in this case, in English, you would say ever. He thought he would never enter there, ever. So he wanted to enter there. He wanted to be part of society. Il remarqua que la société maintient irrémissiblement en dehors d'elle deux classes d'hommes. Let's already translate that. So he noticed, remarqua, that society maintained, and then irrémissiblement, like unforgivably, outside of her, but her, that's society. So society keeps outside, two classes of people. And watch out, can be man, but it can also be human beings, so people. And which two classes of people society keeps outside? Ceux qui l'attaquent et ceux qui la gardent. So those who attack her, well, I say her because society is her feminine in French. So those who attack her and those who keep her, who guard her. Il n'avait le choix qu'entre ces deux classes. So he had only the choice between those two classes. And where is the word only? I've said it before. It's really important to remember. That's the ne que. Ne que together means only. So he only had the choice between those two classes. En même temps, il se sentait je ne sais quel fond de rigidité, de régularité et de probité compliqué d'une inexprimable haine pour cette race de bohème dont il était. So, this is a hard part. At the same time, he felt, and then it's the writer who said, je ne sais quel. So he felt, I don't know which streak, fond, normally it means the bottom, but here we could say a streak of rigidity, of regularity, and of integrity compliqué de, added by a N. That's hatred. And like inexprimable, an unspeakable hatred for this race of gypsies of which he was. So, really important. So, he was, or he thinks he's part of the gypsies because his mother is a fortune teller, father is away. So, he is part of this class of gypsies. And finally, he hates them. And so what he wants is his rigidity, regularity, integrity. And so what did he do? Il entra dans la police. He entered the police forces. Il y réussit. He succeeded in it. So he was allowed there. À 40 ans, il était inspecteur. At the age of 40, he was an inspector. Just a little bit of coffee, sorry. Il avait, dans sa jeunesse, été employé dans les chiourmes du Midi. He had, in his youth, been employed in the, well, chiourme, that's slave drivers of the South. Le Midi, it's a bit funny. Midi normally means noon, but it's also the South, meaning here the South of France. Cet homme était composé de deux sentiments très simples et relativement très bons, mais qu'il faisait presque mauvais à force de les exagérer. So this man was composed of two feelings, sentiments, very simple and relatively good, very good, but that he made almost bad, and then à force de, we could translate as like due to exaggerating them. So finally it was good. He wanted to be rigid, he wanted to be regular, etc., but he exaggerated those elements so much that it almost became evil. Le respect de l'autorité, la haine de la rébellion, et à ses yeux, le vol, le meurtre, tous les crimes n'étaient que des formes de la rébellion. So, respect for authority, hatred of rebellion, and, in his eyes, theft, murder, all crimes were only forms of rebellion, some kinds of rebellion. And you see, again, we have this ne que. So they were only variants of rebellion. Il enveloppait dans une sorte de foi aveugle et profonde tout ce qui a une fonction de l'État, depuis le Premier ministre jusqu'au garde champêtre. So he covered, yes, you can use the word maybe envelop, but we wouldn't. It's like he covered in a sort of blind belief, blind and profound belief, everything that has a function in the state. So everything that's connected to the state, for him, that was like, he had a blind belief in it. From the first minister until the garde champêtre. Garde champêtre is some kind of rural policeman taking care of small villages. So everybody working for the state was for him fantastic. Il couvrait de mépris, d'aversion et de dégoût tout ce qui avait franchi une fois le seuil légal du mal. So he covered in disdain, in aversion and disgust, everything which had crossed or trespassed one time le seuil. Well, it really means like the threshold, but we could also say the line the legal line of evil, of bad. Il était absolu et n'admettait pas d'exception. Well, he was absolute, but absolute in French means like very rigid, very tough about it, and did not admit any exceptions. D'une part, il disait, on the one hand, he said, le fonctionnaire ne peut se tromper. Un fonctionnaire, it's a civil servant. A civil servant cannot make mistakes. So, se tromper means to make mistakes. And then le magistrat, the magistrate, you can say it's somebody also working for the government. Let's go to the next page. N'a jamais tort. It's never wrong. D'autre part, il disait, on the other hand, he said, ceux-ci sont irrémédiablement perdus. So those people, those civil servants, are irreparably lost. Rien de bon n'en peut sortir. Nothing good can get out of there, can get out of there. Nothing good can come from those civil servants. So, well, it was a bit one hand, other hand. Toute sa vie tenait dans ces deux mots, veiller et surveiller. So his whole life was held in those two words, watch over and control. So, keeping an eye on. Il avait introduit la ligne droite dans ce qu'il y a de plus tortueux au monde. He had introduced a straight line into what was the most tortueux, could be tortuous, but I would say crooked in the world. Il avait la conscience de son utilité, la religion, de ses fonctions, et il était espion comme on est prêtre. So he had the conscience. So he was aware of his utility, the religion and his functions, and he was a spy as one is a priest. So in a very, very religious way, like it has to be like that and not otherwise. I hope you understand a little bit, the character of Javert. Sorry, a little bit of coffee. There we go. Malheur à qui tombait sous sa main. So malheur, misfortune to whom fell under his hand. Il eut arrêté son père s'évadant du bagne et dénoncé sa mère en rupture de ban. Yes, that's horrible. He would have arrested his father, escaping from prison, and denounced or exposed his mother. En rupture de ban means like if she was a runaway. Rupture de ban is like being a runaway. So he would have exposed his parents. That's the message. Et il l'eût fait avec cette sorte de satisfaction intérieure que donne la vertu. So, and he would have done that with this kind of interior satisfaction that gives virtue. So he would even have had a feeling of satisfaction. Avec cela, une vie de privation, l'isolement, l'abnégation, la chasteté, jamais une distraction. And so with all of that, so he had a life of privation, isolation, abnegation, chastity, never a distraction. So a very rigid lifestyle. Il n'avait aucun vice, nous l'avons dit. He did not have any vice. We have said it. Quand il était content de lui, il s'accordait une prise de tabac. So when he was content, happy with himself, and then we have s'accorder, he granted himself the taking of tobacco, so he took some tobacco. Okay? Il tenait à l'humanité par là. So he held on to humanity by that. So that's in fact the only thing that made him human is that from time to time he granted himself some tobacco. Terrible life. But you will see he's very important in this story. On comprendra sans peine que Javert était l'effroi de toute cette classe que la statistique annuelle du ministère de la Justice désigne sous la rubrique gens sans aveu. So, we will understand without effort that Javert was the terror of this total class, that the annual statistics of the Ministry of Justice designs under the title of People Without Confession. Le nom de Javert, prononcé, les mettait en déroute. So the name of Javert, pronounced, put those people without confession, en déroute, in disarray. La face de Javert apparaissant les pétrifiait. So the face of Javert appearing, seeing it somewhere, petrified them. Tel était cet homme formidable. Such was this incredible man. So now you understand a little bit. And now we go, I think, to the last two paragraphs. Yes, we do. Keep on going, take some coffee. Javert était comme un œil toujours fixé sur Monsieur Madeleine. So Javert was like an eye, always fixed or set on Mr. Madeleine. Œil plein de soupçons et de conjectures. So an eye full of suspicion and, well, conjectures means like speculation. Like, what is Mr. Madeleine doing again? Monsieur Madeleine avait fini par s'en apercevoir, mais il sembla que cela fût insignifiant pour lui. So Mr. Madeleine avait fini par, had finished by, but in English you'd rather say had finally seen it or noticed it. Apercevoir, it's like to perceive. He had seen it, he had noticed it finally. But it seemed that it was insignificant to him. Il ne fit pas même une question à Javert. He didn't make or didn't give even one question to Javert. So he didn't ask a question. He didn't say, "Are you observing me?" Nothing. Il ne le cherchait ni l'évitait. He didn't chercher, search for him, try to find him, nor did he éviter, avoided him. Et il portait sans paraître y faire attention ce regard gênant et presque pesant. And he had, now we have to say that in French you say porter un regard, to look at someone, porter un regard. So he looked, or he had this look without seeming to paying attention, a look gênant, well, almost embarrassed and almost heavy, serious. So he had a serious, awkward look. Il traitait Javert comme tout le monde avec aisance et bonté. He treated Javert like tout le monde, everyone, with ease and kindness. So it didn't make any difference. Mr. Madeleine treats him like he does everybody else. Last paragraph. À quelques paroles échappées à Javert, on devinait qu'il avait recherché secrètement, avec cette curiosité qui tient à la race, et où il entre autant d'instinct que de volonté, toutes les traces antérieures que le père Madeleine avait pu laisser ailleurs. Okay, so this is long. It's not so hard, but it's very long, so you have to stay concentrated. So, with a few words escaped from Javert, one guessed, so you could guess, that he had searched secretly with this curiosity which holds to the race, which is typical for this race, for this kind of people, and where he entered as much instinct as will. So what had he searched for? All the traces, all the interior traces, or could we say traces, tracks, footsteps. So everything from before that Father Madeleine had been able to leave somewhere else. So everything that happened before of Mr. Madeleine, Javert tried to find out. Il paraissait savoir et il disait parfois à mots couverts que quelqu'un avait pris certaines informations dans un certain pays sur une certaine famille disparue. So he seemed to know and said it sometimes with covered words, so not very clearly, that someone had taken certain information in a certain country on a certain family that had disappeared. So apparently, Javert says, I have some information about someone who has disappeared somewhere. So this will be connected to Mr. Madeleine. And probably you guessed already who is Mr. Madeleine, but shh. Une fois, il lui arriva de dire, se parlant à lui-même. So one time, it happened to him, yes, arriver, it's to arrive, but also to happen. It happened to him to say, talking to himself, je crois que je le. I think that I have him. Maybe it's going to be that I've seen him already. Let's wait and see. We don't know. I'm going to finish my coffee and then working. I'm working already. I don't know if you're still on holidays or if you're working, but keep on going, please. We are not going to drop this book. Have a very, very nice Tuesday. See you later. Bye.